So good evening, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. I have someone that I am so excited to be interviewing right now. Laurie Itkin is the options lady. TheOptionsLady.com is where you can find her. And when I tell you guys, this is one of the key figures who got me into options trading at a time. I remember I bought the book April 2014. I looked it up on Amazon when I bought it. I was pregnant. I was working in retail pharmacy, so I was on my feet a lot. And I was trying to figure out how can I supplement my income. I was tired of working and I had no idea. I had taken a course by a guy named Lex Van Dam. If you're with him, he does stock trading. So I always wanted to get into the stock market, but I had no idea that this options trading thing existed and that you didn't necessarily have to take control of the underlying asset. And I will admit that I don't options trade much anymore. What I use options for is more so hedging of stocks that I already own. So depending on if something is out, I'll do if it's bearish, put option, sell a put. If it's bullish, call option. But these are things that in my community and to my audience are foreign. People come to me and ask me where to start, and it's like, it'll literally take you a couple of days to read it. And I mean, it's not where you stop, but it's definitely the first place I tell everybody to start. So my first question for you, if you don't mind, is let's think of a 25-year-old person who's out of college, making a decent salary as a pharmacist or something, and they say they want to get into investing. Would you say that options trading is the way to go?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm so happy to be here, Sean. You and I have been communicating on social media or following each other for 6 years now, going on 7 years. Yep. I remember when you bought the book and you gave me feedback, and it's so delightful when women like you who are smart, I don't want to say ambitious in a negative. I don't mean I just mean smart driven, smart driven. You want to know who you are, you want to know what you're doing, and you want to go there. Yes, and investing is perfect for you and women like you and women like me because it gives us a flexibility in our future.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right. So, so I think from my story, I started investing when I was 24 and I didn't go straight into options. Let's just talk about stocks. Let's just talk about the stock market. Here, for a person right out of college, 4 years out of college, who has a good job, I implore you, everyone, save a little bit every month. Can you save a little bit every month? Okay. Can you just think about, instead of spending everything that goes into your checking account, can you just every month put a little bit away? I don't care if it's $5. I don't care if next year it's $20 every month, because that's what I started doing. And let's just say out of a retirement plan. You may have a retirement plan at work, but you may not have a retirement plan at work. Right. I just started investing in the stock market. My first purchase, as you know from reading my book, was Starbucks. And you know what? Doesn't matter. You're going to get started whether you buy Apple, AT&T, Zoom. I'm not giving any recommendations. You've just got to start.
Yep. And
you may lose money. You may open up your statement and look at this thing and go, holy, what the down 10%.
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you cannot give up, okay? Because stock market goes up and down. Real estate goes up and down, but over the long run, and you've been doing this now, how many years?
Since 2012. I told you in 2014, but 2012 is when I started trying to save and invest and trade stocks, not options. Right. So I would say I've been stock investing since 2012. 12 via 401k. And then I actually had a financial planner that I was given $1,000 a month to invest for me. But I'm teaching myself and realized I got a higher return than he did that year. No more financial plan. And I think I've talked to you about that. Like, sometimes financial planners are not there. They're there to sell a product.
Right. That's right.
Make you money. So I am by no means at your level or an expert, but I'm so obsessed with the stock market that I pretty much, I taught myself how to do what you said, take a certain amount, my income, dollar cost average, which to me means doesn't matter, buy the same amount, whether it's $50 or whatever, put it into the stock market
That's a secret. That's a secret.
every month.
Yes, that's right. So that's all you have to do. I mean, the ladies who are watching and men, if you have a 401k at work, every paycheck, you don't even know it. You're putting the same amount of money in every paycheck. And I guarantee you, whether there's going to be a stock market crash, a boom, whatever, if you are consistently putting money in every month over time, you will be a millionaire. You have to be.
Test.
Because, you got to be diversified. It's not that easy, right? But, you just, and so my book, let's go back to the book. Why did I write the book? I wrote the book because every investing book out there is mansplain. You know what I mean? Mansplain. Okay.
Even the ones written by women. Even the ones written by women.
That was surprising.
The first one, I can name 2 other ones that are written by women that still sound like a man wrote it. Like, yours is for women.
And the men buy it. If you look at my Amazon reviews, there are men who bought it because they don't want to be mansplained to either. Now, it's not a dumbed down book, though. The book, I worked really hard. I wanted to get everyone engaged early on in that first chapter, my personal story, why I had to become financially independent at a young age. Like Sean, and you're like me. We don't want to be dependent on a man. We like men. I like men. You like men. I like your man.
And that's the thing. I had a girlfriend who's also a pharmacist who just went through a divorce. This is something that this is your niche.
Yes.
And her ex-husband got half of her 401k. She had to sell her house. Now, my husband is in a unique position in that his family is pretty well off. So I don't believe he's a person that would try to take my nest egg. But the person that you marry is rarely the person that you divorce.
That's right.
Yeah. So you might say you're not going to take anything from me, but I'm going to make damn sure you can't take anything from me. And that brings me to a point with your story. I love the part in the book where you didn't even know you were a millionaire. You were getting married. Like, I know the book. You were getting married and you went and sat down with your finance person and you're like, I'm a millionaire. Like, just to figure
out. I sat down with myself, but I had with the finance person, you mean the estate planning attorney, because we were getting a prenup. My insisting, by the way, how often does the woman insist the prenup, right? I wanted the prenup. My husband was happy because he'd been married before, but I had to do it. So when you put a prenup together, you've got to disclose all your assets and debts. Right. And that's what I did because I had accounts here and there. And I'm like, whoa, when did I become a millionaire?
I love it.
Now, so yeah. And so the whole idea is that, so why I want all women to invest, even rich women who don't even have to worry about it with husbands, they're happily married, doesn't matter. The point is, if you learn the basics of investing, you will always be able to manage your finances. And if you can't manage your finances because you're not interested or you don't like it, you're going to be able to evaluate a financial advisor to work with. Because as you said, many of them sell products. I don't want a freaking product. I don't need a product. I'll go on Amazon.com if I want a product, you know? So.
Right. Now, my money is not for you to experiment. And that's one thing. Like, honestly, my goal is for, I remember talking to you years ago, and I just don't have enough money for you to be my financial advisor. Like, but I'm going to get there. My goal, like talking to you right now, is a bucket list item. My other goal is to be able to go and say, you know what, guess what, Laurie, I'm worth $3 million now. Help me put it somewhere. Like, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm committed to doing it. Like, I just retired from pharmacy practice, because I remember one thing that you also told me when I was in the finance thing. You were like, you don't have to limit yourself to one career. If finance is something that you want to do, you can do that. So for the first time in my life, I'm taking a leap. And investing and having a nest egg has allowed me to do that and be more of an entrepreneur full time.
Right.
You know, so, and one thing I want to say about the book, page 17, this is another topic, and we can go back to the others, but I have to address this in your current feelings. You said, consider renting a few years longer before taking on a mortgage. Spend a few minutes a day reading free online content such as CNN Money or Yahoo Finance, love Yahoo Finance, and find a mentor. So I call you my money mentor. I want to know, what is your current stance still on renting versus buying?
Great question. So as you know, I work with a lot of women going through divorce because I'm a certified divorce financial analyst. And sometimes they work with me to manage their assets after the divorce. And it's very often that women will say to me, we sold the house, I have to rent, I'm such a loser. I'm 50 years old and I have to rent. You are not a loser. You are buying yourself freedom, because when you get out of a relationship, you may have kids that are young, you may have kids that are old, you may not have any kids. You have to be, locked into a huge mortgage and HOA, there's HOA, property tax, all that stuff. When you don't even know what you're doing or where you're going to be 5 years from now, renting gives you flexibility. Yes. Now, do you need to be a lifelong renter? No. Maybe not, but don't buy a house before you're ready just because you think you're a loser if you rent.
Thank you. Because I'm a person, I haven't bought a house yet, because I put most of my money into my entrepreneurial endeavors and stock market. And I believe in my soul that I'll buy a house with that. But I mean, it's coming up. I got married. So we're looking at land first, not a house. We're looking at land to build a house on. So I've been judged for not being a homeowner, yet I earn a certain amount, or I say I'm so successful, but you're renting. But people, there's a reason why I do that. And I remember you and I had this conversation. It's in your book. You didn't immediately go out and buy a home.
I could have afforded it. And I said to my mother said, what are you doing? Buy a condo. You're 30 something years old. I said, Mom, that means I'm going to have to sell all my stocks for use as a down payment. And why would I want to take my money out of the stock market when I can? With same thing, exactly. Same thing about people who buy properties to rent them out, right? Because that's another chapter, that, I want tenants, toilets, or trash? No, because here's my mouse, Sean. I want to get my money out in 2 days from the stock market. Click, 2 days, it's in my bank account. You do that with a house? Can you do that with a house in 2 days?
No, ma'am.
You need money.
Nope.
You can take a loan out. You can get a home equity line of credit, maybe, or your mortgage and wait a few months, but liquidity risk. It's called liquidity risk. The stock market, it tells you what it's worth. How do you know what your house is worth? Is there a stock market ticker symbol every day saying what it's worth? And so, yes, there are two ways to make wealth, the basic ways. You can either own real estate or you can be in the stock market. Yeah, you can invest in private equity companies. There's other things, but there's two main ways, right? And for some reason, this American dream bull, is that you're like a loser if you're not a homeowner.
Yes. And I've stopped trying to explain it. I mean, you get it when you get it. And even though I'm getting closer now to, we're gonna buy a house, but I realized that my first home ownership endeavor is going to be probably in my early 40s.
Mhm.
And
I
I've
don't
been
know, how old are
approved.
you now?
Huh?
How old are you now?
38. So
Okay.
2 years. And I've been approved for houses twice. I mean, it's a no, like that's another thing is like to be a home owner, and that's a term that we can debate. To me, a homeowner means you own the house outright, not that you have a mortgage.
Great point, Sean,
I
because
mean,
you're right. You're right.
I can get a mortgage. I want to own the land that my house sits on.
Mhm.
And number two, I want to take the time to build the house, because I just read an article about how they're just building these houses up. They're not very well put together. And the lot spaces, I'm in Orlando, Florida, so our lot sizes are very small. So I haven't bought a house just because I don't want a house here. The lot sizes, it doesn't make sense. There's too many people moving here. Literally, the house next door you're looking in your neighbor's window sometimes. So it just depends on where you want.
Hey, good looking.
And I brag on you so much because I'm like, I know millionaires who rent.
I own now. I do own
Yeah,
now.
you got a house now. Yeah, but I mean, it depends on your individual situation, and real estate is not, first of all, owning your residential home is not an investment. It's a bill. So a lot of people go into a mortgage, buying a house with a 580 to 620 credit score, so they're already underwater in it. And they're like, oh, I just bought my first investment. How is that an investment? You can't even afford it.
Right. And people like to forget that the housing market crashes too.
Yes.
How many people went into foreclosure? How many people lost their homes? How many people had to sell their home in a divorce and a loss? So
Yep.
again, and so the point is, just invest in something. Okay, there'll be some people that don't trust the stock market. They don't like it. They'll invest in real estate. But for the rest of us, the other thing is, you can't buy a home in California. You can't buy a home unless you have a down payment. And I mean, where I live in San Diego, we live in a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath townhouse. It's a condo at the townhouse. It's worth 1.1 million now for a little townhouse. So the point, how much would you need for a down payment, Sean, if you're going to buy that house? So who has $200,000?
$150,000. Like, right. Yeah.
Okay, so with the stock market, you don't need anything. You can buy an exchange traded fund. I talk about in my book, if you're just starting out, exchange traded funds. I don't care. There's no commissions anymore.
Yes.
You can buy $10 worth of an exchange traded fund, and there's no commissions. When you and I were doing this, you had trading commissions. No longer. Nobody charges trading commissions. Now on options, it's 65 cents a contract. And let's just talk about options briefly, because options and what you do, I want to highlight what you've told me you do. You already own the stock. You have stock you like. And when you feel like, I don't know if it's going to continue going up right now, I'm feeling a little, then you can sell a call option, which means you agree to sell it at a slightly higher price in the future, maybe the same price in the future, and you get income in your account today. That's income, boom. Correct. Like so that's a great thing. What you're doing is you're renting out your stock. You are generating income on stock you already own. That's the basic option technique I teach in the book. And people love it because stocks, sometimes they sit there. They don't always go up. They may pay a dividend. They may not pay a dividend. So just to break it down, when you invest in stocks, unless they pay a dividend, the only way you make money is if you sell that stock for more than you paid for.
You bought it for. Yes.
Right. Does that happen every day, that opportunity?
No.
No. So if you buy a stock that pays a dividend every 3 months, maybe you make a couple of % a year. And if you sell a call option, Maybe you get some option premium. I don't want one way to make money. I want 3 ways to make
That's
money.
right.
And having 3 ways to make money means you lose less money when if the stock goes down.
Right. Right.
That's what I teach in this book. And everybody, the men and the women, they say, no, you have one chapter on this cover calls. I've read 4 books. I don't understand it. You and I understand it.
And I want to note that her covered call option example is on Apple. Apple is a stock that when it split, I think the second time, that's was that in 2012 or 13?
It just split again last year.
They split again, but Apple is one of the ones that I used your example, and I kind of still use it because Apple is one that even though they just had a stock split, the stock is not really moving a lot. There's no price action in it that you thought you would have from the stock split. So, I mean, there's so much that people can learn. What I find, honestly, is they want, for the most part, someone to hold their hand. So when I recommend a book, it's almost like it's too much work for some people. And those people, not to be harsh, but to be harsh, maybe wealth is not for you, because Warren Buffett says he sits in his office sometimes 8 hours a day and reads. This book, your book is
short, 160 pages,
128 pages. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. And what this book does, it's amazing on its own, but it leads you to other concepts, which leads you to other books, leads you to other blog posts. They can Google you, Laurie Itkin. They can Google you, find articles. I'm on TD Ameritrade. So when you're on a webinar, they send all TD Ameritrade customers emails to participate in the webinars. So every time I see your name, I'm not stalking you, I promise. But because I admire you that much, like, I'm gonna log on to it because I know if this is something that Laurie, is signing up for, it's legit. So you may not be that person for everyone, but everyone has to find that person for them. And I want to transition a bit, because another thing that I admire about you, we're Facebook friends. So you are a Jewish white woman who I see actively trying to be an ally and understand what's going on in politics. We actually have differing political views, but I respect you still so much. And that's another reason why I take to you, because politically, my people, I don't feel, understand how much less they would have to rely on politics if they got their financial houses in order. Does politics...
Folks, she's a libertarian. Sean's a libertarian. That's talking like a libertarian, and I'm a Democrat, and which is weird, right? Because most, what they think? They think
Black people are, yes. You would think it was switched.
Rich people who don't want to pay taxes, and exactly. I know, and I'm the Democrat. Look, I believe this is what's so funny. People look at me, they assume I'm a Republican because I'm a finance person. I pay taxes. I believe in paying taxes, but you know what? Whether you're a liberal, whether you're almost a socialist, you still should make your own money, okay?
Yes.
The point is that, so I had one friend who told me, and I use her example, I think, in the book. She said, look, you work all day, whether you're a stay-at-home parent raising kids, you're working all day, right? We're working all day, no matter what you do. And then at night, you send your money off with a little briefcase to be invested in the stock market, and it's working for you. Your money's working for you. So you earn the money, and then you have that money earned. And I talk about compound interest. I try to explain compound interest, the most initial concept you need to understand to invest. And the whole point why we do this, because people eyes glaze over, when you're 60, 70, 80, 90, and you can no longer work, you can no longer earn income getting up and do what you do, you need a big pot of money sitting here that is going to pay you income.
Correct.
That's all this is. because Social Security, now Florida, maybe Social Security is enough to live on, but it's not enough to live on in California.
In San Francisco, no, it is not. No, ma'am. I know that. And I think that's another thing that people don't understand is, in order to retire the way most people want to, just living off of 50,000, you have to build a certain nest egg that you're not going to touch so that you can live off of that interest. And that's okay. Yeah, I'm taking a step back from my career now, but I have no intention of blowing through my nest egg, because I know that I hope I make it to 75, 85. And that's something that a lot of women don't think about. And when they're married, I think they put that responsibility on their husbands to handle. And then you end up divorced and you don't have a nest egg.
Right, that's right. And I have a lot of women who I manage their accounts, and they are retired, and they tell me, Laurie, I just need you to provide me $1,800 a month so I can pay my mortgage, or I need to take $2,000 a month every month. And I'm there managing the investments so that between that, the stock appreciation, the dividend, the call option premium, that they have income. Right. And if things go well, they don't have to reduce the principal. So let's say you have $1 million. If you take out 100,000 every year, it's going to go away. But if you can generate the investment income to cover what you're pulling out, then you may die and leave things to your kids. You may have some money left over. And you know that, and you know that, but somehow you know that, and a lot of women just were never taught it, don't know it.
And I don't have an answer for why that is. And as I said before, as a Black woman who is a libertarian, I consider myself conservative. It's just that there is this gap, this wealth gap with my people. And I want you to correct me on this, because I say it all the time. Is it offensive to say Jewish money? Like, I want to be rich like the Jews? Like, educate me, because I'm ignorant to that. Because to me, it's I'm complimenting you, but Black people have to start thinking like the Jewish people as far as infrastructure. You took if they read the book, you took your bar mitzvah money.
No, I was never bat mitzvah. I'm not a practicing Jew. I'm culturally Jew.
Gotcha. Okay. See, I didn't know. Okay.
Okay. For those that don't know, bat mitzvah is sort of like you have a confirmation in the church. A bat mitzvah is a coming of age for a young woman in the Jewish tradition. But
thank you.
Yeah, so I think it's more, I'm not a practicing Jew, but I'm culturally, I'm born Jewish. And I think in our culture, education is highly valued, right? I'm generalizing, of course. I can't generalize for all Black people.
Yeah.
So I can't generalize for all Jewish people, but I think, and in fact, so interesting is if you look, when I travel and I go to museums of Jewish history around the world, Jews were the ones that managed the money, because I think in Spain, I learned that it was dirty to manage money, the upper class people or religious people or the church thought it was dirty to manage money. So only the Jews can manage the money. That, again, now I'm going to have Jewish people watching this correcting me, but that it's just a cultural history thing. So I apologize to anybody if I've only got the
and me too. I'm trying to learn, so I don't mean to offend.
So I have a married couple who's Black, who I manage their money. And what's just so incredible to me is that they've done very well, because they both worked. They're just, I love them both. They are phenomenal people. And do you know what she told me? The wife told me, because I was very upset when the Black Lives Matter was happening last year, and George Floyd and all the incidents. I couldn't believe it. They live in a very nice home. They have nice cars. They both work. They're not entry-level professionals. And do you know, she got him for his birthday or Christmas gift, I think one year, one of those police detector things or radars, because she still feels like a Black man could be pulled over because he's driving a nice car.
Facts.
That broke my heart, Sean. That broke my heart. This is a Black couple who has worked hard, who has been successful, and it's all about white privilege. I'm white. Now, people don't like when I say white privilege. My conservative friends, there is white privilege. I will not get pulled over in the car unless I've sped or was speeding
Yes.
or hit somebody. Okay.
And I can attest to you out there marching. Like, I just love you because you're honestly more sympathetic towards the Black causes more so than I would say I am, because I am a very much powernomics. We talked about Claude Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
How long are we going to blame our problems on the system?
Right, understood. Whereas I believe there is institutionalized racism. I believe the system, and this is very common of Black conservatives will say we can't keep blaming the systems. We just have to do what we're going to do as individuals and as a society and move ahead. But the problem is that you will face discrimination, not you personally. Like I'm a woman, I haven't faced much discrimination. It hasn't stopped me if I've had any. Now, you're a Black woman, so you're two minorities. So imagine if you were, we have our new vice president, right? She's she's a woman, she's Black, she's Asian, East Asian. And there are still people that are going to try to put you down. There are still people that are going to put, you know what? So, you know why I love working with Black women. I want to tell you why I love working with Black women, because Black women have had to work even harder and to be, otherwise, people assume whatever they're going to assume. So Black women have to be even better. And that's why I love working with Black women. I mean, I hope that doesn't sound too, generalized, but
no, I get it. I mean,
if you've always had to prove yourself.
And more, and I'm going to say this flat out because me and you, we can talk about things openly, and hopefully I don't offend somebody in the audience. But if I do, we keep it real. I tell Black women and even white women, you need to walk with the same confidence of a mediocre white man. Mediocre white men have no problem pushing their mediocre credentials across a table and asserting themselves to get into positions. You know what women, especially Black women, are told to be? Humble.
Really?
Yes. And we're told that by each other. We're told that by our men. We're told that by society. We're told that by the church. And it's
to be humble.
To just be humble and not humble. It's not anything wrong with being humble as in being a good person and not being an asshole, basically.
Right.
But humble to me often means, as applied to a Black woman, dumb it down a little bit. Don't be so sure. I had a boss in pharmacy. He was my pharmacist and he was my pharmacy district manager, and I was pharmacist in charge for a retail grocery chain. And he told me I was too assertive. And he was
this your boss? This was your boss?
But he because I had gotten into an incident with a customer. Customer complained, and I pretty much told that customer, you can't tell me how to run my pharmacy. I don't care. Go somewhere else. And Mark, I still love Mark, my Jewish pharmacy district manager, he came and he said, Sean, when you said you didn't care and that the customer can go anywhere, he says, I will back you up because you know your stuff, and I will back you as far as I can go. He said, but I couldn't back that at corporate, and you can be, because you know your stuff, too assertive. I said, Mark, would you have said that of a white man who had
never
the same? Why am I too assertive?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just Black women. I think women in general. I was having a conversation about expatriating and moving abroad, and in the United States, Black women and Black people deal with racism, but in other places, sexism is a problem.
Sure.
So you got to pick and choose. It's like, would I rather go somewhere, work overseas and be treated like less than, just not because I'm Black?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a woman, and these men feel superior to me, and they feel like they can touch me at liberty and talk to me, and I'm less than intelligent because I'm a woman. So there are so many odds stacked against us as women. That's why every woman should know her options.
And let's talk about the thing about the wage gap, about women are paid less than men, Black and Latina women are paid less than white women.
Right.
So here's the deal. This is why you have to invest. The stock market doesn't see your gender or color.
They
the
see
stock
green.
Market's it's green. So you may be paid less in your field because we have institutional racism and sexism, but that stock market, your dollar is the same dollar.
That's it.
And that should go with your libertarian beliefs right there. There is no institutional racism or sexism in the stock market when you're investing. Maybe if you work there, if you work for Wall Street, but not if you're investing the money. And that's why I tell women complain, look at all this wage gap, every year it's all this stuff comes out. Women are paid X percent less. Minority women are paid X percent less. Okay, yeah, that should be fixed. But in the meantime, you got to invest your money more wisely. What are you going to do with the money you do make? Okay. If you make 15% less, then you got to be smart about investing it so it grows and you can actually be richer than the white guy who's getting paid 100%.
Right.
That's what I mean.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
I won't keep you any longer because I know your time is valuable, but I mean, I want people to, first of all, get the book. Now, what I don't want you to do is bombard her with questions that are A, in the book, buy the book first. B, she's not your personal finance advisor. So please, for me, because this is I would be pissed off if I found out that people started inundating you with stupid questions. There is a such thing as stupid questions off of this interview. This interview is not for you guys to go and bombard Laurie. This is a space for you to learn about the options of trading, your options as women, your options as investors, and take it a step forward. And that's that, because she's my money mentor and I'm not going to share her. So thank you. I am humbled by the entire experience, because talking to you is something that I've wanted to do. We talk on Facebook and stuff.
We hit it off right away.
Conversation. Yeah. Having a real conversation is something that we hadn't had a chance to do. And I didn't deem myself worthy of it, to be honest.
What are you saying that for? Come on. But anyway.
Because you manage multi-million-dollar portfolios. My little $300,000. I mean, come on now.
That's not little. Look at that. Look, you've earned it. You've invested it. I mean, amazing. I mean, really, it's phenomenal. Well, people don't have to inundate me with it, but they can sign up for my newsletter. It's on it's a free newsletter. I only send it once a month. You get my newsletter, right?
I get the newsletter. Yep, of course I do. Yeah.
Once a month.
Yeah.
And the book can be, if you have a Kindle, there's a ebook version.
I got that too.
It's the best $15 you'll ever spend. Let me say that. Okay, that's not humble. It's the best.
Yeah. And for women who are going of any age that are going through divorce and need estate planning, and this is what she does.
I don't do estate planning. No estate planning. I can refer you to an estate planner.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Because it really bothers me that a friend of mine who she probably had a nest egg bigger than mine, working as a pharmacist, just like me. We graduated pharmacy school together. And I remember her telling me that her ex-husband's attorney, going through the divorce, he called her one day and he was like, hey, how much money did you say you have in your 401k again? And I'm like, is that even legal? Is that?
Oh yeah, you have to disclose it. Usually they're split 50-50 or equitably. If you've been married, it's a whole lot. I can go on, that's another topic, but it's called divorce finances. Usually marital assets are usually split fairly, even if she earned it, because you're married, you're a community, you're a unit, unless you have a prenup.
I get it, but I hate it.
Get a prenup if you want it to
hate it.
separate property, if you want it to be your separate property, you've got to state, this is my, that's why I have a prenup. All right, we'll have to
Yeah.
talk about a prenup some other time, but Sean, it's
Yes.
been so much fun.
Thank you so
talk for
much.
hours.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So you guys, all the information about her, I'm going to put in the comment section. Don't bombard her. Please sign up for the newsletter. I'm going to put a link to the book. Everything that you need to know about Laurie, I'm going to put inside of the comment section of YouTube. But please do not send her a question asking what she thinks. Like, she's not here to analyze your stock purchase and that type of thing. Because I'm going to personally be mad at you if you do that. She's not going to tell me because she knows I'm going to be mad at you and get you. But just respect her time, as I do as someone who has been like stalking her for years. So Laurie, I thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And I can't wait to get this uploaded tonight because the people are going to benefit from it. And I thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope this is not the last time that we talk. But thank you. I can't. All right. Enough.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Thank you. Night.
All right. Good night.